Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Are we live?
Wait, we're live. Sorry.
I'm Maddy.
Wait. Welcome to Insomniacs in the morning. I'm Maddy.
Is that what we're doing? You're not Maddy. I am.
I
thought we did.
Coherent.
I thought we always did. I'm Maddy and I'm Ryan. Welcome to Insomniacs in the morning. You know what's really sad? We don't know, and this is like the 17th episode.
You know what's ridiculous is that I go through and listen to each show and do the show notes, and I still don't know.
Well, I don't know either, I guess. Anyway, it's Monday.
Welcome to our show that is on episode 17, which I never thought it was going to make it this far.
Me either. And it still might not. I mean, you know, we could just shut down halfway through this episode, just go back to bed.
You might just shut down at the end of this week because you have a crazy week ahead of you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even emotionally ready to talk about that because like thinking about it is just making me go, but I want to sleep.
Okay, literally today
you're like, I wanted to sleep in.
No, it was 8:30 and you messaged me. You're like, oh, well, sleeping in. I guess I already missed that. And I was like, Maddy, I told you we could take a week off. Like, we didn't need to do
no,
today.
I would have missed you. I would have missed you if we had done that.
All right.
Even though we just hung out.
Oh my God, yeah.
We hung out. Well, we can talk about that now. I mean, what are we waiting?
I don't know why I'm like we have to go. This is very specific order on this list.
Well, no, I am going in order. That's
okay,
the
first of all, I came up to Massachusetts this weekend, and we were supposed to shoot Gino, but whose plane tracer had to cover
for somebody at work who had a medical emergency.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. The guy's
see that this was making me think a lot about what we were saying last week about how it's way easier to do Gino now than it was to do D-Men, and that's still true. But also, you were making the point where you were like, well, we're adults, so we don't have infinite time. And I was like, that's never a problem. But I had forgotten that, there have been so many times when we've wanted to film the Gino thing and we haven't been able to because, usually work-related things get in the way for people. And that's actually a big reason why, we haven't been able to have as many actors as we wanted to because a lot of people who wanted to be in the show just either don't have time or live so far away that it wouldn't be possible. It's just, I don't know. So that's the other reason why making a web series is really fucking hard is because you're asking your friends to do hours and hours of work for no money.
I mean, they get to go on YouTube, so I mean, there's that.
But that's the end of the road, you know? You gotta wait and do a lot of work first.
Well, so the moral of the story is that we didn't actually end up shooting it.
I'm pretty disappointed, but
you know what? In a way, I was like, it's okay because both last week was a crazy week for me, and this upcoming week is a crazy week for you. So I'm like, we can use a day off. It's not like we can't reshoot this. We already know that we're getting all together in less than a month or so for the X-Men movie. So
yeah, so then we're gonna try to shoot it then because you're already gonna be in town and everybody's already gonna be watching X-Men together. So hopefully we can set aside some time.
We still did get to see each other because our friend Steph.
We did because you already came up anyway, even though Gino
she was originally doing a party, but some I don't know, something happened, so it got turned into a dinner that we all went to.
Yeah, we all went out to eat.
We're on time for, which has never happened
That's
before.
Not true. I
was
late.
You were late, but it was a miracle that literally everyone else was there in time. Our friend Ryan was there 2 hours early.
I know, because he didn't know what time it was.
Okay, but it turned out that everybody was confused by this text that was sent out to us.
Okay, well, we're on a group text with all 6 of us, and this is all the people from D-Men who are in Gino also.
Yeah, it was really sort of a weird reunion.
Yeah, and so we're all on this group text, and also all of these people are our high school friends. So that's weird. And and so we're all in this group text, and you guys send texts all fucking day. So I just have it muted, and sometimes I go in and I try to read it, but it's it's just people screaming Sinister all day because that's what we did.
There was actually a point where our friend Caro was like, so are we meeting at 6 or 8?
Yeah, Caro asked 600 times. She was like, are we meeting at the restaurant at 8?
Are we meeting at margaritas? And literally, yes. Everybody else was sending pictures of rainbows. I was screaming Sinister
everybody
pizza.
Else was sending pictures of the X-Men and emojis. Well, we're children. We're just still children.
It was great.
moral of that story was. But somehow we did manage to actually eat dinner together. So clearly we don't need an adult to supervise
it was
us.
an interesting. That was interesting too, because I like. Okay, first of all, I have to tell you about this because you know about like how I ordered a vegetarian like enchilada.
Yeah,
and they like definitely put chicken in there, and like the cook was like, "Can you check it?" And we're like, "No, it's definitely there's chicken in all of them." And I wasn't mad or anything. I wasn't mad at the waitress. And I kept on telling her,
I was like, mad.
I was like, "This isn't your fault." Like everything.
We were just like, this has chicken in it. Can you please give Ryan? And I called him Ryan. I was like, "Excuse me, this is Ryan Pagella." No, that didn't happen.
It's like, here's his Twitter handle.
Excuse me, but have you heard who we are? No, we did all of that, obviously, and that's probably why they gave us a chicken enchilada. Anyway, no, we did none of that, and we tried to return it, and I don't know where this story is going. Are you?
No,
please don't tell me that the second one had chicken in it, because that would be really sad, because you didn't tell anyone at the time if it did.
Because I didn't eat it at the time because they gave it to me, and it was too hot to eat, and then we left, and it was like, the end. Okay, so
to be fair, you weren't missing out a ton, because I did eat your chicken enchilada and it was okay, but like we weren't exactly at like a really fancy restaurant.
No, that's true.
We were at a very affordable Mexican restaurant where everything tasted like fine. You know,
pretty much. There was a lot of tortilla chips, which by the way, they gave us 3 bowls, but the one that they gave to like our side of the table was literally just the crumbs.
It was like a bowl full of crumbs.
It was like tortilla confetti. Like, I mean, that's like, what it was.
The other Ryan, because I know 2 Ryans, so we called the other one Rye. Try to keep up, guys. So Rye apparently was like taking up fistfuls of chips and like dumping salsa on them, like a fistful of like crumbs,
and then like chasing them with more.
We're chasing them with crumbs, which is like disgusting. So I missed all of that, and when I got there, I was like, "Why is this bowl just crumbs, guys?" And Rye was like, "Oh, it was actually like that at the beginning of the night." Like you missed nothing.
Wait. So I have to finish telling you the story about the food because there's an ending to this. So first of all, there's 2 ironies. The first one is that they got it confused with something called the flag, which is funny because the one time my dad ever went and ate there, he kept on ordering the flag and they kept screwing it up, which is not what I ordered. But then the next day we went to the diner and like they brought us out their food and they forgot like my pancake. And I was like, I'm just not lucking out right now. This is like 24 hours Ryan goes to places and like they can't bring him food.
That's really sad. Wait, did you end up getting it, or were you just like,
the place we went to
I don't even care.
The diner we went to was really good because then they like raced out and they're like, here's your pancake, sorry. And we didn't have enough hands and I was like, yay. And it was fixed pretty quick. But I mean, I was like, how come this is happening to me twice in like 10 hours? Like
maybe you just have bad luck. I don't know. We kind of have bad luck lately, but I'm mostly saying that because I'm sad about the Geno shoot because I was like super hyped for it.
Me too. But like, we'll make that happen.
And that was bad luck that had nothing to do with any of us. It's just like shit. Yeah, no,
like somebody literally went into surgery. Like, what
can
we do about that?
Like, holy shit. We're not gonna be like, no, don't cover for your coworker. Like, what the fuck? We're not dicks. But I felt sad about it because I was really excited about it.
You know what, though? Since we didn't have to get up and shoot, we got to hang out at Steph's place after around a campfire.
That's
s'mores, which was awesome.
Which I did, even though I did wake up early the next day because I made other plans because we didn't have Geno. But we got to have s'mores. Well, yeah, let's just keep talking about our childhood.
Let's just keep on talking about s'mores. We were
sitting around a campfire and like telling each other. Ryan wasn't because he like got waylaid by Steph's mom who like wanted to talk to him for 6 hours. But everybody else was sitting around the campfire eating s'mores and like we were all talking about our old high school memories, and like Caro and I were talking about this camping trip that we went on with like 2 boys that we then almost immediately broke up with later. And like it was like really fun because I haven't talked to a lot of people in a long time, and everybody shamed me for never coming to hang out. Yeah. And I was like, okay guys, you have to understand, like I literally don't leave my house. Like I don't it's not like I'm doing something else that's good. I'm just sitting here either playing the piano or like working, and like I mean, I guess I'm busy, but it's not like I'm like being an asshole. Right. So I don't know. Everybody's always like, why doesn't Maddy hang out more? And I'm like, well, I'm probably working.
Yeah. You are. And then I can't. And then you were leaving. You were like, I'm leaving, Ryan. I was like,
oh my God. Yeah, that was really awkward when I was leaving. But it was also really late. And I was like, I have to go. And it took me like another 40 minutes.
We were like outside until 2 a.m. at the campfire.
Oh, I mean, I would have been too if I didn't have to wake up early. But I left at like, at 11:30 and I didn't get home until like midnight. Well, like I left pretty late.
No, see, Carol and Elena and Raya left by like midnight, and it was like,
oh, but you and Steph were hanging out.
Like, yeah, we were talking about like Avengers and like throwing marshmallows. By throwing,
I feel like I was trying to roast them, and I think that we were sitting around the campfire, like talking about our feelings and being like, yeah, like we're adults. No,
dude, no, it's
no, it's like, literally like nonstop. X-Men, like we're like, what do you guys think about the new X-Men? Do you remember when we saw this X-Men? What do you think about these other X-Men? And like it's just that for like hours, and it's great. I loved it.
There's a lot of me dropping the contents of the some more into the fire because I just couldn't.
Well, that happened a lot before you came out. Okay, there was a lot of discussion of like how to make a good some more, and it's not easy. I like how you entered that.
Okay, I put it on there because like honestly, what is the good way? Because first of all,
do you want to wait actually and talk about this as a food at the end?
Oh my God, good idea.
Okay, cool.
Neither of us.
I'm gonna move it.
All right.
To the bottom. Let's skip ahead to this important Ecco the Dolphin news.
Oh my God.
I actually do want to mention this.
Okay, so this came up during the dinner, but like so basically,
well, actually, it came up like between you and I in a chat previously.
Well, yeah, but that's because when Jess and I had done retrospectives, which is up on YouTube, like
you did a Let's Play of Ecco the Dolphin, which people should check out.
With Jess, I was like, wait, Ecco the Dolphin is called Ecco because he uses echolocation throughout the game, and Jess was like, yes, Ryan. But then I went and told Maddie, and she didn't know either.
I didn't know. I had never thought about it.
And then we also went and told everyone at dinner, and nobody knew it there too. They were like, "Wait,
yeah!" Like everybody was like,
Katie
we asked around. Seriously, we asked around.
Katie, who didn't even play the game, she was like, "No shit, I would have told you that upon hearing the name." And we're like, "Katie."
Well, Katie knows everything about animals, so that's not a surprise at all. But like everybody else, we like went around and we were like, "Hey, why do you think Ecco the Dolphin's name is Ecco? Like for real?" And like everybody was like, this is going to be a joke question because Maddy and Ryan are asking it. But we were like, no, really, do you know why? And nobody knew. And we had to be like, oh, it's because of echolocation. And I think Steph was like, I didn't even think about the fact that dolphins use echolocation. So I never would have come up with that. And like, that's a fair point, but they do. So I don't know. Anyway, we're telling everyone this because we figured that no one else knew, and we wanted everyone to know this important Ecco the Dolphin fact.
Hey, maybe nobody else realized it either, and this is their wake-up call also, and they were like, now we can die happy that we know that Ecco is called Ecco because of echolocation.
Okay, are we gonna share other stupid video game facts today because we have a million?
Oh no, like literally like all of our topics today are really dumb. But before we get to that, like I do have things that are real that I can talk about because I
don't.
All right, so I was really busy this past week. And you don't even know about like any of
this. Yeah, you
did
like a lot of photography shoots, right?
Yeah, and okay, so the first thing that I did wasn't on Friday, it was on Thursday. It wasn't a photography shoot, but I went on to Carla's podcast, Carla Tenike.
Which is your boss, who is
right? Yeah. I should have clarified that she's the studio I work for, and
everyone should already know who Carla is. No,
anyway, so she's starting a podcast called Eyes Up, Heart Open, which is sort of about like, going through life and living either not even through tragedy, but just keeping your chin up despite like the hurdles of life and like staying positive and stuff like that. And I've been listening to her do all these like stories on her podcast with like all these people that have come in and share these like sort of like crazy stories that they then like laugh on, or like life experiences or whatever that are sort of like scary and stuff. So I spent a really long time deciding if I even wanted to talk to her about this, but I did end up sort of talking to her about some of the shit that happened to me like 10 years ago. And so we talked about like some like really, really deep shit like on her podcast. So like there's going to be a retelling of my life in 2007, which is sort of like the first time I've talked.
Probably not with real names, though.
No, I used no names.
Right.
And I and I ended up talking to her about it, which is weird because I don't really talk about it, period. But I sort of was like, well, I feel like people could benefit from hearing about like this sort of trauma that I went through. And I'm not going to talk about it here because you can listen to it on the podcast.
This is a happy show, but Ryan, that's really cool that you were like able to talk about it without having a breakdown on the show.
That's
why I always have trouble like talking about bad stuff that's happened to me, because I'm like, I don't want to cry in front of everybody.
I didn't do that.
That's cool.
I mean, I don't really do that anyway, except unless it's like Toy Story 3 and or Steven Universe.
Sometimes it happens without you realizing what's going to happen, or like, I know you talk about it so rarely that it's like hard to really say.
Well, but I figured that would be a sort of a stepping stone for me in a way. And, hearing other people's stories when I was going through my trauma at the time, like, helped. So I feel like this will help other people.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, we should put a link to it if it's up. Or
it's not going to be up for a while, but I'm letting everyone know. And then, so the other thing I did was on Friday, I did a gallery opening for Colomo Jordan and his daughter. And Colomo is this 90s. He was sort of like this 90s DJ that did a lot of trance and stuff that was like pretty popular back like 20 years ago. And he still does a lot of awesome stuff and a lot of awesome art. And he knows Felicia and works with her. And he did this sort of like now that he's older and in his 40s, he did this like art team up with his daughter, which was really cool. Like, it was sort of like this semi-famous guy doing like a project with his daughter. And I love that shit. Like, I love it. Awesome. I love team ups with like art team ups between a parent and their,
or like any family thing is cool. Cause it's like, you're passing on a skill.
Right. Exactly. I mean, like I get that from my mom because she would do her studio stuff, her dance shows, and like the whole family would come together to do that for the longest time. So I really appreciate it when I see like other artists do that type of thing. But it was really cool. And then I went to bed early that night, even though it was a Friday night. So like as soon as I finished the art gallery, I went, no, but that's because I had to get up so early the next day for more shit that I was doing. So, but I mean, it's good. And I felt very rejuvenated last week because I was doing so many shoots and I was editing so many photos and working, and it was like sort of like, oh, here we go, finally things are picking up again, because
that's awesome.
The dead of the winter is the worst. It is so bad.
And also like not having jobs when you're doing contract work or like whatever, it's so stressful because you're constantly like, how am I gonna get any work? Like
I mean, this is exactly what it's like in
so
field where like I mean, I have to.
You're in a field where like getting a job is the most exciting thing ever.
I mean,
and you're like, I'm so excited to work.
I mean,
and like,
you've
it's
been there
really
too.
Weird like, headspace to be in, but it's also kind of fun.
When you used to pitch articles, it was the same way.
Yeah, it's the same way. Or like getting an assignment like would be such a relief in some ways to be like, oh my God, I'm going to work. I'm going to get some work done. Like it's so. It's like a really awesome way to approach work because you're like excited about it, but it's also extremely stressful because you're constantly on trying to find work. So, but then that isn't paying you anything. So it's terrible. I don't know. Being a freelancer is bad, but also good. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. There was a point last week where I went to the beach. And I was like walking around, I'm like, I really hate it when I just don't have money for long stretches at a time. But I really love being able to go to the beach on a Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon.
I was so jealous of your beach stuff.
I mean, and
like, I shouldn't be because it means you don't have any money. So it's like, why am I jealous of this?
It's so, the flip side is so bad. It's like either you're going to be making a ton of money and be miserable and can't go anymore. Or
like I haven't been to the beach in like a year. And the last time I went was with you. And there's like a video of us going, which is adorable. But I haven't been in so long because I've just been working constantly. Yeah. I've been working on this album.
I was going to say, you're going into like this crazy hell week.
Yeah, I had a photo shoot, which was unfortunately not with Ryan because Ryan's so busy. But we did a photo shoot.
That maybe we might do a music video. So
yeah, we might. I still want Ryan's services will be employed in the course of the Robot Nights trajectory. But we did a photo shoot with one of the photographers from Dan's job, and Dan works for a t-shirt company. I don't know if you knew this, but
You did. You told me this because he's
so like
pretty fashionable for a straight guy.
He is super fashionable. That's like a whole other thing that we can talk about. But he brought in one of the photographers that like takes photographs of models at his job, and I was like, whoa, okay. But it was still, I think he was doing it for free, and I think like he's like still kind of an amateur. So I felt like the photo shoot was really fun, but I'm also extremely nervous because we haven't seen the photos yet. And I'm like, I don't really know if that went well or not. You know what I mean? Fine. Yeah. I'm really worried that I'm going to look like complete shit in all the photos. And then Zach and Dan are going to look really good. And I'll be like, I guess I'll look ugly. That's my big fear.
If you don't like them, you can reshoot them for after the album is made, because this is for like the GoFundMe type thing, right?
That's true. They're just promotional photos. And like, if I fucking hate them, then we can do a different photo shoot later. It doesn't even matter that much. Like, anyway, if I look so then you have to go
and record the actual album all week.
Well, yes, we're recording one song. And it's like the promotional song that will be on the front page of the Indiegogo. And then we're also on Thursday night, we're recording the video, because, you know, there's like a video that you see at the beginning of a crowdfund that's like, we're people, give us money. And so we're going to record that. And so like after work on Tuesday and Wednesday, like Tuesday, Zach is going early to set up his drum kit and like get all the mics on all the drums and shit, which is going to take like a million years. And then we're going to go there and record the whole drum thing. And then fucking, I don't know, do guitar and keytar and vocals potentially on Wednesday, or like try to do some of it Tuesday.
Man, imagine what it's going to be like when you have to record a whole album. Like,
well, it's going to be worse because it's going to be that, but like, well, I don't know. I can tell you now, like at least one part of it will be easier because the studio was like, for the drums, we have to do it on a Saturday, and we're going to set the drums up early that day, and we're going to record all the drum tracks all day. So like that's going to suck for Zach, but it's so that you don't have to mic the drums more than once, because you have to put an individual mic on every single drum, which is like crazy.
It's crazy.
But you have to, because that way you can like go later and post and be like,
right,
the snare is way too loud. We need to turn down the snare and turn up the bass drum, or like we need to turn up the cymbals or whatever. And you have to like be able to actually do that. And
right.
So anyway, the drums will be all one day, and like then everything else will be recorded like at night or like layered on top later. So I don't know. But even that is like impossible because we still don't know which songs we're going to record, and we're like waiting to decide after we find out how much money we raise, because like we don't know how many songs we're going to be able to afford to do, you know?
Right.
So we can't even, it's so stressful because it's like we can't really decide anything right now, but we have so much work to do. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, and meanwhile you're posting ominously on Facebook for the Robot Nights page. You're like, something's happening, we don't know what, but like meanwhile you're tweeting, we're making an album.
Yeah, I know. That's because Zach controls the Facebook page, and also like the studio has
I thought it was you.
No, Zach actually posts on the Facebook page, which is really nice. We try to divide things up. We try to. It doesn't always work. But the studio has like given us a whole bunch of help with marketing, which is like really funny because Dan does marketing for a living, and like I've done it in the past. So they're like, here's how you write a good tweet. And I'm like, I'm not going to say
I like how, anything. Oh my God. You would
it's
have been
like really funny that they're telling me how to write a good tweet. And they don't know that I have so many Twitter followers because it like hasn't come up at all.
It'd be really funny. We're like, so I have like this many, and they're like
13,000 Twitter followers. Like, I don't even know what they would do if I said that. But the reason why I haven't brought it up is because when it comes to crowdfunds like this, it's actually a lot more likely that people you don't know will donate, or people that you do know will donate, rather the opposite. Right.
Okay.
So I don't really know if I can rely on any of my Twitter followers to donate at all. Well, like I've I've like done a poll and stuff, and like some people have responded to be like, yeah, I'm interested in donating. And I'm like, okay, well, but those responses might just be from the people that I know, because there's like a very low response rate.
And you also can't like look it up on a Twitter poll either, which
I know Twitter polls are useless.
I've been running them because I think they're hilarious, like the one on the subjects for today, and then I was
they're really fun, but they're also totally useless when it comes to stuff like this, where I'm like, I actually would love to know how many of my Twitter followers also like my band, and it turns out that some of them don't even know I made a band, even though I talk about it all the time.
Or a morning show that comes up too a lot.
I know, and I'm like, guys, I'm tweeting about 2 things, okay? There's like not that much going on. I write articles during the day from 10 to 6. I do a morning show every week at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. Today it's Monday. You got a lot of tweet reminders about that too. And I'm in a band at night. That's the thing I do at night. That's it. That's it.
And then this weekend you're going to Indiecade.
That's right. I'm going to Indiecade. Although I haven't talked about that a lot, so people could be excused for not knowing about that.
Well, that's true. But you'll be there and you're speaking on one panel, right? Or 2?
I'm talking on one panel about the sexualization of men in games with Gita and Todd and Dante.
I mean, that's a good team up.
Yeah. I hope it comes out okay. Anyway, that's enough about me.
Okay, so speaking of video games, one of our followers just messaged us on Twitter. And he said, reply Ecco the Dolphin. The name of the game is actually stranger than you think. And he linked me to the Wikipedia page, and it says the name Ecco comes from John C. Lilly, where during his experiments with psychoactive drugs, he met a series of cosmic entities dubbed Earth Coincidence Control Office, Ecco. In his life, Lilly was involved in extensive research involving dolphins, compiling his work's findings in the book The Mind of the Dolphin.
Wait a minute. Okay.
I can't even.
I don't even know what to say now. Like, okay, I guess it isn't named after echolocation. It's named after this guy's drug trip. I take it back. It's nothing to do with echolocation at all.
Oh my God. This is fucking weird. We'll have to tell everybody at the X-Men party.
Okay.
Be like, we were all wrong again.
No one will care. Okay, tell me a workout tip.
All right, so today I'm doing the dumbbell shrug, and I'm going to try and back it up. But you stand, before I back up and demonstrate, you stand and you sort of hold your weights down, just like right along your waist, and
like
you just shrug. You literally just shrug. Like, here. So I'm going to go off headset for a second so you can see.
Okay.
But it's...
So Ryan's standing up and he's holding the weights in front of him.
Stand straight and then sort of just go like
raising your shoulders.
With a Zelda t-shirt on.
Yeah, you have to wear a Zelda t-shirt or else it doesn't work.
Keep on shrugging like that because it's working. Hold on. It's working your shoulder muscles. So
yeah, it's I mean, he can't hear me yet because he doesn't have headphones on. But it's
I'm back.
Hi, it's your trapezius, right?
Yes.
Your traps.
Yep.
Cool.
And it's a really easy workout that's very effective. It's easier for you to move up in the actual weight than it is when you're doing like other exercises. So like when I'm doing like curls or upward lifts or anything like that, it's still pretty hard for me to move on to like a harder weight. But with the dumbbell shrug, you actually can keep on moving up in weights because it's so easy.
So you can feel good about yourself and be like, my trapezius muscles are strong.
Yeah, but it also like really does it makes the back muscles look good and like right around here too. So I definitely recommend it. I chose an easy one this week. I've been adding on new workouts to my routine like every week. So like I'm actually coming up with more stuff.
That's awesome. Something that we've been doing is that I finally got around to buying a barbell and some plates. And now I know they're called plates thanks to Ryan Pagella. I never knew before. Before I was like weight circles, and I like used them at the gym for years without knowing they were called plates.
Donuts?
How would I know? Because there's no one at the gym to tell you jack shit, or at least not any gym I've ever been to. So I read in an article many years ago that like the main workouts, weightlifting workouts that you need to do are deadlifts, squats, and the bench press. And if you just do those 3, then you'll actually be doing pretty fucking good. And like, so for a really long time, I just did those 3 and I always felt like I was in really good shape. But unfortunately, you have to have a bar for those.
Yeah, like a real bar.
Yeah, like you can do squats holding weights on your shoulders, like little hand weights. Yeah, you need a bar. You need a full bar. You need every kind of alcohol.
You need a bartender.
Yep. It's really expensive, but you know what? Anything for the sake of fitness. So like, so I never got around to buying a bar because I don't know, I'm a cheapskate. So a couple weeks ago, I finally bought one. I don't even know why. I think I was just like, finally in the mood to spend some money after years of not doing so. So we have a bar. We don't actually have enough plates. I bought some plates, but I didn't realize how strong I was. So the bar could probably be heavier than it is. I think it has like 20 pounds on it right now. It's not a lot.
I mean,
they are expensive. So I bought like a really small set of like beginner plates. So it's like 4 or 5 pound plates and 4 2.5 pound ones, I think. So it might just be 2 2.5s. No, it's 4. And so I have like all of them on there, I think. So because it's still pretty light.
Well, since Maddie's an Amazon, she's going to have to go up in weights.
Well, this is the thing though. Like deadlifts, you can lift a lot more weight than you think you can, because for a deadlift, you're like crouching down. I don't want to demonstrate this because this is something where you should probably Google it and like watch some YouTube videos, because it's like actually pretty significant.
Well,
but like
in general, I mean, we are giving workout tips, but talk to trainers because you can easily fuck something up.
Yeah, so. Especially with a deadlift, because like this is something that's working out your lower back, and that's an area of your body that a lot of people have pain in and like accidentally twist, especially if they sleep in a weird position. So like in particular, since you're working out your lower back, you want to be super careful. And like when Zach and I do it, we do it when the other person's home and we watch each other's form. Yeah. So like when we switch off, and like I'm shocked that Zach is doing this, by the way, because he's never lifted weights in his life that I know of. So he's finally doing it, and he's lifting like this really light weight, and I'm like, that's like adorable that you're doing that. But like he's learning his form because he's never done a deadlift before. Right. He might be embarrassed for me to be saying this. Whatever, it's fine.
No, it's okay.
So like we'll be watching a TV show together, and like he'll go and he'll do a set, and I'll like keep an eye on him and be like, oh, your knees are too far out, or like whatever. Right. And then he'll sit down and, or, you know, whatever, do jumping jacks. And then I'll go do a set. And that's a really good way to do it. I mean, you can do it by yourself, but I'm always worried about that. So, because if you fall over, there's no one there to help you.
Exactly. When Ben does that kind of stuff, he's the same way. He just kind of has me stand there and watch him, because I mean, if you fuck it up, like you're gonna hurt yourself and drop the weights and damage the floor, maybe drop them on the dog. Like you don't want to do any of that.
You could drop the weights. You could drop them on your foot and break your foot. Like there's so many. Wrong. Yeah. But if there's another person standing there, they can leap forward and help you. So I guess mine is deadlifts this week. I wasn't actually going to talk about them on the show because I thought it would be too complicated to explain what they are.
No, you did it.
I mean, basically you bend over, you pick up the weight, you pick it up, and then you put it down. You pick things up, you put things down. It's like that old joke about bodybuilders from weightlifting, except that like it's not intimidating. I don't like that those commercials are like, oh, people who do deadlifts are very intimidating at the gym. And it's like, it's like one of the easiest workouts ever once you know how to do it. Like, don't be intimidated by doing this. It's very easy. If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm like wiry and short. So if I can do a deadlift.
I'm not short, but I'm also wiry. So yeah.
Yeah, like it's not, if it's intimidating you, like just remember I'm fucking doing it. Like how hard could it possibly be?
Exactly. All right, let's talk morning news, because let's blow through all this, because we have 5 million topics.
Okay, we do, but all of them are like either
super short
or irrelevant, or like not like barely within the purview of our show.
So we'll take a moment to sort of be sad for a second and just say that there were 3 like major deaths last week. There was Prince, there was Doris Roberts, and there was Chyna. Chyna
from the WWE. And so that was like a really intense week.
I mean, obviously, Prince was the hardest. I was
and it's been
about the fact that, like, you know, my mom used Let's Go Crazy into all of her dance shows. So like I knew about Prince when I was way too young to know what Prince was.
Except that it's fine because Prince is awesome.
I mean, he
like
really is.
it's cool to like show kids that, I don't know, sex exists and it's mysterious and cool. And like then when they're old enough, they'll learn what it is.
I also feel like people are sort of celebrating his life a little bit more than when David Bowie died for some reason. Like there's people they like cancel things to do shows of Purple Rain. Like, you know,
I think it's because Prince, for, I don't know, this is to his credit, like he had a bigger cross-generational and cross-genre appeal than David Bowie. Like David Bowie was like a very, you know, sort of subsection of rock and punk music, but Prince played so many different kinds of music that it was really, really incredible. Like he took different genres and combined them and was extremely prolific. Like he was working for his entire life. And like, I don't know. I don't know if he had any regrets really, but like if you make music constantly, I don't see how you really could. Like at that point you're like, well, I guess I said everything I needed to say, or at least I did it as fast as I could. And like he was a perfectionist and had written so many songs that were just incredible. Like, I don't know.
He was also very sort of like both sexually and gender wise, he was very fluid, which is now a very important thing. So
yeah, and like at the time that he was discussing that stuff, there wasn't really the same, like it wasn't normalized in the way that it is even now, and it's really not normalized even now. But like at the time, we didn't really have the same ways of discussing it. So like a lot of the old interviews with him, it's like we just kind of have to speculate now what he might have meant about like gender fluidity. Like we don't really know how he identified, and like that's cool, that's fine. Like I don't think we should like retroactively be like trying to define him after his death, because I don't think he would have wanted that in life. He was basically like, I'm undefinable. And, and like a lot of his work revolved around him being like, I'm a fluid person, and like one day I feel like this and another day I feel like this, and like that's so cool. And I think it's neat that he expressed that.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you on that. And I think that's really awesome that he was just sort of like, I don't really identify it. And I'm like, that's good, because we shouldn't be labeling that shit anyway.
Well, we shouldn't unless somebody wants to. And like the fact that he was like, I don't feel like any of these things define me is like also another acceptable way to express who you are.
Right.
And that's really, really cool. So, and it annoyed people at the time. Like people were like, Prince doesn't even want a name anymore. Like what a pretentious douche. And it's
I know,
like,
I remember that whole phase. Like, I was just confused by it. I was like, what's the problem? I don't even know.
But I mean, like, I think now I kind of get it more, because I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Like, fuck every kind of label, including having a name. Like everything is well, but like everything is like institutional and reductive when you think about it. So it's like, I kind of understand how he would be like, yeah, fuck this too. Like actually fuck everything about every label. That's pretty badass. And he did it during a time when it wasn't cool to do it. So that made him really brave, I think.
No, I agree with that. And his music was fucking great.
Yeah.
I've definitely sat around and listened to like the vinyl of his stuff.
Yeah, and like also
I was trying to figure out how to follow that up, and like I'm just not going to.
It's okay. I guess I just wanted to also say, like, I've never been a WWE fan at all, and like I'm not super familiar with Doris Roberts' work, but I know that a lot of people have been writing really cool stuff this week about Chyna as well, and like that's worth seeking out. Like I don't know. I know that Chyna was like super important as like one of the first women, or I think the first one. I know nothing about wrestling. I'm so sorry. But
that's
like,
okay.
I didn't really know about her until this week when I started reading some of the obituaries, and I was like, it sucks that I didn't know about this. So better late than never, I guess. Read articles.
She was on an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so you can go watch that.
Okay, I'll check that out. I'm sure I watched it at the time and I didn't know.
Yeah, of course. We're just going to talk about this for 2 seconds because I don't want to get into extreme detail about it. But
okay,
they had announced that Harriet Tubman was going to be on the $20 bill, which was really exciting at that time. But now it's like super fucking racist. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, because it turned out that Andrew Jackson's going to be on the back of the bill because they're fucking keeping that guy on there.
And we're like, wait, why? Like,
I don't.
Everyone is so mad.
I'm really mad, and like it's not even just that. Like it's also like, I don't know. Like I don't even want to get into like the politics of this.
Neither do I. So that's all. That's why I said 2 seconds only.
Okay,
I don't want to talk
done.
about it anymore.
Fuck it.
Let's talk about the X-Men.
Okay, let's talk. Yeah.
let's go on from racism to the X-Men, which actually still sort of works.
Yeah. Oh God. All right.
So
we're not going to talk about racism in X-Men.
No, we're not. But we are going to talk about.
We were going to talk about ageism and sexism in X-Men.
Well, first of all, there's a rumor flying around that X-23 is going to be in the new Wolverine movie,
which is cool. Even though those Wolverine movies, I don't know.
No, did you ever see the Wolverine, the one where he goes to?
I haven't seen the latter day Wolverines.
You need to really watch the one where he goes to Japan. It's really good.
I should check them out. I don't know. After I got burned by watching the other
Origins
in the theater, I was like, I don't know if I can get on board.
They just sent like a photo out on social media that the Blob is now in like X-Men Apocalypse. Like, so basically now everybody that was in X-Men Origins and X3 have been now put into this movie to be correct. I don't know.
It's like, it's kind of like Bryan Singer is still really pissed about everything.
I mean, I would be too. I mean, we are.
But it's also like, why'd you leave, dude? Whatever. I don't know. He's a baby.
And meanwhile, they did like, there was supposed to be a new trailer out today that I was hoping we could talk about.
Yeah,
but it's not out
nothing.
Yet.
All right,
it might be out right now. Who knows?
Maybe it'll be out later.
In the meantime, they had released with like their sponsor Coldwell Bankers, like this weird thing where they like walk around the X Mansion. They're like, you can buy the X Mansion for $1 million, and they had some like footage from the movie that hadn't been seen before, and everyone's like, this is the weirdest marketing, the weirdest way we could have seen like some new footage of X-Men.
It is weird.
Like.
It's like it's like an ARG. I mean, it's not, but it's like, you know how so people will do a corporate tie-in where they're like, let's pretend that the movie's real and like what.
Or sometimes the Ninja Turtles turn around and say, American Express, never leave home without it.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of that because it's like Coldwell Banker being like, let's tour this mansion and pretend that it's actually on sale in the real world. But of course it isn't. And then like awkwardly splicing in footage from the movie that like clearly had nothing to do.
Like there's definitely a scene with like Jean Grey giving people nightmares and they're like, look at this beautiful home. Like,
I know. And I was like, I feel like this was a good joke on paper, but in practice it makes no sense, guys.
I mean, it would make sense post its release, you know, because then it would have been funnier, but now it's just like a weird like a preview of the movie, like
and plus I don't think anybody watched it because it was like Coldwell Banker, so they were like, that sounds boring as hell. And then, like I put it into the pitches channel for work and I don't think anybody picked it up because like probably everybody's like, what the fuck, why is Maddy putting this in here?
I know, I like your pitches are like stupid shit I said, dude. You're like, whatever. Like
I mean, it's that, but also I have like an RSS feed of different stuff that I like look at and be like, is anything happening today? No.
So, okay. Also, speaking of Jean Grey, Famke Janssen has been very vocal this past week about how sexism still exists in Hollywood and how it sucks that like all of her male coworkers, like Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, keep on coming back for the movies, but they're like, well, you can be in this movie, but as like a nightmare scene in the background. And she's like, what the hell?
It's pretty fucked up. What's really fucked up is that it didn't occur to me until she pointed it out, which is really sad because you would think I would be like thinking about this. But when she pointed out, I was like, oh, right. Like almost all of her male co-stars have come back and like she has not been invited to come back really. And like she's appeared very briefly and stuff, but like,
I mean,
not
like,
really.
It's weird. It's very weird.
And it's kind of like Hugh Jackman gets to still be in these movies like infinitely, and like they made Wolverine movies about him, and like they haven't made a Jean Grey movie. Like there's no Jean Grey movie at all, and like that would have been really cool. And like
I mean, I don't think they would have done that, but they could have done a Phoenix Saga type of thing. And it's
they could have done a Phoenix Saga movie like for real.
I think Famke is very well aware of that. She's like, okay, so like we're putting Wolverine and everything, who's a major part of the X-Men, but why isn't Jean Grey there when that's like their biggest story arc, you know?
Yeah, and like they haven't really done, they didn't really even introduce Emma Frost at all, which is like a whole thing that they could have done. And there's a lot of stuff that like any of the storylines that revolve around women, they just haven't really approached at all.
I mean, they like, I mean, I understand why they decided to not make Kitty the main character of Days of Future Past, because she would have been like not alive yet because it was set in the 70s.
Yeah.
But again, that was another situation where the hero was supposed to be Kitty.
Yeah.
It worked with Wolverine because of the weird generation gap they created. But, you know, I don't know. Like,
I feel like the reason why they did it was because they were like, let's just make another movie about Hugh Jackman. And like, they've been doing that a million times. And like, I love Hugh Jackman, and that's why they're going to make 16 movies about him. But also, like, I don't know. It'd be cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on for this. We have two other topics on here. We're not actually really going to talk about them. There's just been two things. The new Independence Day trailer came out, which I finally watched this morning. I'm going to go on record and say I've seen Independence Day, the first one, like several times. It's not my favorite movie. Like, it's sort of fun to put in the background, but I'm not obsessed with it like the rest of the world is. So like, this new movie trailer is just like super boring to me.
It's weird to me that they're even making a sequel. But again, when we say this every week, it's like every week they're coming out with a weird sequel to something.
Yep. And then also the new Game of Thrones season, which again, I'm like, you and me are like on a weird boat where there's
mute Game of Thrones on Twitter, everybody, because it's back and your friends are going to tweet about it 600 times and you're not going to care.
Yeah, I liked it at the beginning, and I'm just so bored by it right now because I'm like, it's the same formula of like weird torture porn, and I don't understand why this is a thing. I mean, I don't know why people like it anymore. I've read all the books. I've read all the books. It's like the story is terrible, but the actors are really good, and like the production value is really good. So you kind of like go there for that. But then like the rest of it's like, why? I don't understand. Like, what are we rooting for? There's like no solid plot happening anymore, you know?
I know. So, and now they're having to go off script from the books, like as of this season, because they've officially gone past.
And it's like writing episodes. So I'm like, this is just.
He's not. He's not writing this season because he's working on the books.
No, I thought he was guest writing a couple episodes.
He has in the past, but I think this season he is not. I think he gave them a plot outline and was like, here's what I think the rest of the books are going to be.
Do the best you can with it.
Do what you can. Bye. I got to finish writing this book. Like, that's crazy. Like, that entire situation. I'm like, why did this happen?
Okay.
Like, why did we start a TV series about books that weren't even close to done? Like, not even close.
Okay. I don't know. But we have to stop talking about this because I just looked into the mail for a second, and Marilyn sent us a fan art, and I'm dying.
Okay, do you want to do reader mail then?
Yeah, and I'm going to start with Mary Ellen here, and also we have to answer the poll reader mail too. So this is we gotta like, you know what I'm talking about, because we ran that poll. It's like, what should we talk about? And now people really want us to talk about Mr. Sinister and Albert Wesker for some reason. So,
I think King Dedede won the poll though.
Oh yeah, that too. Sorry. How do I send a picture in here?
I don't know. Just forward me the email.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
I mean, or I could log into the Insomniacs Gmail account for the first time in my life. I never do that.
I like how I didn't even think about that. So first of all, Mary Ellen just sent us a message that says, I made you fan art. You won't be able to show it, Ryan, so you have to like describe it. LOL trolled. I'm at work. LOL, what even so lame? I quit OkCupid again. Bye. And I just forwarded it to you, and she does like fan art on MS Paint, which is actually better than I can even do on MS Paint. But like, it's like
very good. It's clearly just a photorealistic image of the two of us.
Are you looking at it?
Yes, I am.
Oh my god, it's like,
and it says fan art at the top, just in case we didn't know it was fan art. It says fan art, and you're on the left, and I'm on the right.
And like we're like doodles. We're literally just doodles. Like we have like spaghetti here.
Though. Okay, so we should clearly post this on our
I'll put it
website.
on Twitter after I'm done.
Okay, cool.
All right,
Thank you, Mary Ellen, for the very adorable fan art of us.
So we actually got an email right as we ended last week that I actually responded to him already because I felt bad that like he sent it to us. I'm like, you have to wait a week, dude. But this guy,
it was like somebody being like, help, I'm trapped.
I'm trapped in a well. I'm like, sorry, it shows next week.
Sorry, you're gonna have to wait.
But he wrote in, and it was really nice. It's not a question. He said, hi guys, I'm watching your show live almost every week in Germany, and I really like it. And besides your topics, there is an added value for me. Learn proper English from good native speakers. I don't know if that's true. I have like a slight Boston accent. Anyway, Seriously, how did I come to Insomniacs in the morning, you might ask? Easy. About a year ago, I somehow stumbled upon Maddy's What's Going On at Atomic Blue Productions, and since then, I'm following you guys. Keep it up and have a nice day. Cheers, Stefan.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, really...
What a weird way to discover us.
I mean, but when he sent that, I was like, this is another indication that I have no idea where our audience comes from and like who views what, because I sort of assume it's because they like saw us like at an event that we were doing, or they liked your stuff and then found me, or the vice versa. But sometimes they just stumble upon it by like rolling around on YouTube, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah, so, the fact that anybody would find us just from our YouTube content blows my mind, because I just assume everybody follows us on Twitter
for something else. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for sending us that email. And I know that you got a response from me already, but like that was really sweet of you.
No, that's really cool.
Really cool. We have another email from James, and he says, "Hey guys, I was wondering what sort of art you guys like. Are there any styles of art that you guys like to decorate your houses with, or any particular artists that you really like?" And honestly, I mean, I like all art, but Ben and I literally have decorated our entire house and framed pictures of comic books.
I know.
So I guess like that might be the way. I think that's the best thing I can describe, because comic book art from like all the way from the 80s to like now it's really gorgeous. Like it's become a thing where like it's a very specific style depending on the story that they're telling. So like I'm really into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Ryan has a lot of very cool like framed comic book panels and covers in his home, and it looks really neat. I don't. I have like fancy old school paintings, one of which is like from my parents' house, like a painting that they were getting rid of like a mystical castle, and it's like it's like faded, and it's like the castle's in the background, and that's by my desk. I have another like sort of impressionist painting that Zach's mom gave to us, and it's massive, and we've never hung it up yet, but it looks really cool. And I have like a painting. It's not a painting, it's more of like a line drawing that Zach and I bought at an art show, that's like a geographic star that like is all these interlocking circles. So it's like
really cool.
It's really neat. And like that's hung up over by the pull-up bar. I mean, like we have a lot of different kinds of stuff. We don't really have any like nerdy stuff that's framed right now.
We have like some other stuff, like photography and stuff that we have framed, and we have some paintings too that my mom had given me from the studio galleries below her that are also really gorgeous. But I don't have like a specific style. I like art.
Yeah, hanging up art is really awesome, and like it makes you feel like an adult who's put together and like has a place that matters. I don't know. I don't have like a thing I like really, but it's kind of like, does it go with the room? Is it the right colors? I mean, that's like a very weird way to think about art.
That I want to look at on the regular.
Yeah. Like, is it something that when I look at it, I have a good feeling?
Yeah.
And usually that's what I'll end up going with. Or like I have paintings that just have a good memory for me for whatever reason. Like seeing the castle.
Yeah, same here. I don't know if you can see. I'm not going to bother turning the website around, but I have this like painting that was in my grandmother's house in like the 60s that I always loved, that was in the porch of her house, and my parents were about to get rid of it. They had put it on the curb, and I was like, no. I like remember when I was a kid, like I used to like envision myself, like I used it as like a map for video game levels in my head. Like I was like, I want to keep that.
Yeah. I mean, that was exactly why I ended up with the faraway castle painting, because there's a painting that my parents had hung up in the living room when I was a child for like ever.
Yeah.
And I always looked at it and I was like, that castle looks so cool. And it's not like a nerdy like dragon in a castle kind of a pop art painting. It's like a real painting. And like, Daenerys is like, no. It's like a real painting. I don't know what it's from at all, but like it just looked really cool. And like as a kid, it just sparked my imagination. I thought it looked really beautiful. So like now I just look at it and I think about like my home and my parents in like a good way, but I also think like, oh, what a cool fucking painting. I don't know.
I mean, that's like when I go to art galleries, it's the same way. Like you sit around staring at art, trying to understand like what the artist was doing, but sometimes you just like the aesthetic of it, you know? So
yeah, like I think that's kind of the point, is like you look at something and you're like, this is supposed to make me feel a feeling, and like if it doesn't, then it's just not for you. But ideally you look at art and you're like, this makes me feel a certain way, and that's cool.
Yeah. All right, we have one more reader mail, and it's from David, and he says, I remember reading Maddie's article defending positive formulaic TV shows like Murder, She Wrote. Are there any other shows that give you all a similar feeling?
That's a long time ago that I wrote that. I still love Murder, She Wrote.
Listener for follower for you.
Yeah. Do you have like formulaic shows that you like? Like,
no. I really don't.
Yes,
like
you
what?
do.
Like,
Arrow is formulaic.
I don't like it though.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the reason why I like Murder, She Wrote is because it is the same thing every time, and I find that comforting. Like every time she's gonna solve the murder, every time she's not gonna die. Like nothing bad is ever gonna happen to her.
Well,
so like,
I guess I feel the same way about watching the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo from the 90s.
That's a perfectly good answer, honestly.
I was actually just watching that the other day. Don't even ask. That could be a throwback.
That's your answer, apparently.
I mean, I don't know. Like usually I get sort of bored of things unless it's a cartoon. I think cartoons can do a little better where they like sort of encounter the same issues. Like I was watching Phineas and Ferb, and it's basically the same thing every time where it's like the parents leave and the kids do something crazy and the older sister tries to rat them out, but then like everything goes back to normal before the parents get home. And it's like, it's a formula that works for the cartoon, but I don't have any like live action shows that I get really into like that. So
yeah, I mean, I really like watching mystery shows, which I've talked about many times in my life.
I get bored with that. So
I love it because like the mystery is always different, but the characters are the same. So you're like, I like these characters and they're charming and fun, but now I'm going to try to guess who the murderer is. Like that's the difference, is that you have to be like, who's the murderer? I don't know. I like that shit.
I mean, I guess I do too, but like,
it's cool. A lot of people get bored by it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everyone.
I mean, we are watching Lucifer right now, so that's the same thing.
Yeah, but you might get burned out. I feel like Lucifer is like more my style.
Well,
like I'm
no,
like way
if he like decides to like take off more of his clothes, probably not. So anyway,
well, we're watching Lucifer for slightly different reasons. I mean, I'm in it for the clothes taking off, sure, but I also like the mysteries.
All right, so then I posted a poll last night, and I was just like very like jokingly like, which of these 4 things do you want me to talk about? And then everybody like voted on all of them.
Yeah, it was kind of an even split. So now I think King Dedede actually won. Yeah. So we can't talk about this, I guess.
I mean, yeah. So there's 4 subjects, and they're going to be quick because these are not going to be long answers. But the first one was, what is King Dedede's species? Which is an argument that Maddie and I have been arguing about since we were teenagers. And for the longest time,
although it's not a real argument,
duck, right? Like I kept on being like, he's a duck, and Maddie was
like,
"Well,
you were closer than I was because you were at least like in the avian." Well, because I played the Game Boy Kirby's Dream Land game,
he was just in grayscale.
He's animated in grayscale, and like he looked kind of like a monkey to me, or like a gorilla. I don't know. Like his facial features don't really evoke any particular animal, to be honest. Like,
well, I know that's true. He just like opens his mouth and sucks Kirby, and like the end.
He just like has
spits some stars out.
He just has like a big mouth that like could be a beak or could be like lips. I don't know. Apparently, so like I thought he was monkey, and so I think we were just talking about the Kirby's Dream Land game, and I was like, it was weird. The final boss in that game, the monkey that you fight at the end is really easy. Like it's way easier than the rest of the game, which is true. And you were like, what are you talking about? What monkey? And I was like, the monkey guy, the big guy that you fight at the end, and you were like, are you talking about King Dedede? Because he's the last boss. Maybe you haven't made it to the last boss. And I was like, no, I have. It's a monkey. And you were like, it's not a monkey. And we got into a fight. Duck. Yeah, you thought it was a duck. And it wasn't a real fight per se.
No, but it went on for the longest time. And then recently we were like, wait, he's a penguin or something?
Somebody else that we met heard us jokingly talking about it and was like, do you guys not know that King Dedede is a penguin? And we were like,
technically
wait,
he's an alien, so it doesn't even fucking matter.
It doesn't. He's an alien, but I think he's supposed to be a penguin, but which is a little more obvious if you see him in color because he's like blue and white.
I don't know. I mean, he's a penguin he lives in a castle that has like a wrestling pad in the middle of it. Like, I don't know what to make of any of it. Like,
I know he doesn't really look like a penguin to me. He doesn't really look like a duck either. Honestly, he doesn't really look.
I don't
know
what like Kirby or Meta Knight are even supposed to be. Periods. So let's just say they're all aliens.
They are all aliens because that actually is canonical. So anyway. That was a funny argument that we had as kids, but it wasn't a real argument. It was just us talking about video games. And what's funny about that argument to me is that like anybody else now would be like, why didn't you just Google it? But I feel like we were having that argument in like 1997. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, we couldn't Google it back then.
Well, we could have Googled it, but I think it was more like it didn't occur to us to Google it.
Should have been like logging into AOL.
Yeah, Ryan was like, can we just talk about AOL IM for a while? And I'm like, not even IM.
I was talking about like just regular AOL. Like, because we had to go on message boards to find anything, period. There was like no Google.
Yeah, there wasn't a Google. I mean, like we could have theoretically found some information.
But Ask Jeeves was bigger before Google was. Do you remember?
I remember Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, and Yahoo. So
and like that. There was one with a dog, like fetch something.
Oh yeah, I don't know. And there was like another one that began with an H. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, there was a couple other things on here.
There were a bunch of competing search engines, all of which we could have used to find out more information about King Dedede. But back then, the information you would find would be like a fan forum. It would be like fans debating.
Right, that's what I mean. It would have been like literally just message boards. So
yeah.
Another question that we had was Albert Wesker's sexuality, and I'm just gonna say he's gay, right? Like, there's not a question here. Like, I mean,
know that? Yeah, like, everybody knows that, right?
Like, he's so gay to the point that now people think Chris Redfield is gay because, like, the way that
by
they
people,
interact
do you
with
mean you?
No, it's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
A whole thing with you in your head?
No. Okay. Because, like, even Steph was like, dude, like, Wesker just made Chris super gay. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me then. Like, you know.
I do think they have kind of like a Batman Joker thing where it's like, are they going to fuck or what? Like,
like what's happening?
Like, yeah, like, what's going on? Just hook up, you guys. You don't need to, like, do all this stuff. Like, you can actually just date.
Yeah, that's true. You don't even need to be battling each other in a volcano. Just have a nice dinner somewhere. Like,
yeah, like, I don't know why you're going to all this trouble. Like Albert Wesker's like, I gotta create a virus that will turn me into a massive monster so Chris Redfield will pay attention to me.
I mean, basically.
Theirs is a love that can never be.
Okay, speaking of that, Mr. Sinister, which is also sort of the throwback this week.
Okay, let's talk about Mr. Sinister.
He just kept on being like, let's talk about Mr. Sinister, which...
Well, because I think it's really funny. Because you and Katie were obsessed with Mr. Sinister for a really long time.
Let's clarify, he's a villain from the X-Men.
He is a villain from X-Men, but he's like a joke villain. And like, he's constantly like...
thrown in to like cover plot holes. Like, yeah. Literally, that's what he does. They're like, well, this doesn't make any sense. They're like, that's because Mr. Sinister did it. And like... oftentimes they'll like cut away from the story that they're telling or even on the TV show and it'll just cut to and be like, everything's going according to plan. They cuts away and they don't explain that.
Like every time anything happens, Mr. Sinister is like, it's all according to my plan. And like, it doesn't matter so what it is. I'm so obsessed
with like how ridiculous he is that I own like every action figure that's come out of him. Like, I think he's the most ridiculous character in the Marvel universe and I love it so much.
He is pretty great. So like, I didn't believe you guys about any of the stuff that's happened with Mr. Sinister. Like, you and Katie would tell me like ridiculous stuff that he does in the comics and I'd be like, I think they're just exaggerating for comedic effect, which we do all the time. But then I like finally started reading some Mr. Sinister's comics and I was like, what is this? Why is this literally, like, if anything, it's more crazy than I thought it would be based on what you told me. Like, it's so...
Okay, I mean, first of all, he's like, his costume is like blue armor with a red diamond in center. He's got like ribbons.
Weird about it, but
he's like got ribbons flying around. Like, I don't know why he's wearing ribbon dancer and like he's got a diamond on his forehead. He's like clown paint white. Like,
he's great.
What was this? What was the comic that you were reading? He has this weird relationship with Gambit.
Yes, he does. And by weird relationship, do you mean like implied sexual assault?
Like, I don't know, like
I mean, like, so of course there's a bunch of fan fictions in the world about Gambit and Mr. Sinister getting it on either consensually or non-consensually, and like that's a big part of the fandom, and I thought that was all based on nothing. Like I just was like, it's two hot guys getting it on. Sure, fine. Mr. Sinister isn't my cup of tea, but I can understand how he might be somebody's cup of tea. And Gambit's definitely hot, so I get that. But that's like real. That's like a real part of the comics.
Okay,
I
but
guess.
Like then there was like some storyline where Mr. Sinister literally removes the diamond from his head, and he was like, "Hey, I was your father all along, Remy," and was like
now he's Remy's dad.
There's also like another one. Like I was telling you about this where
spoilers for Marvel.
No, nobody cares. It's
no one
Mr.
cares.
Sinister.
No one cares.
There's like another scene where like Wolverine's like in Weapon X, like it's a flashback, and the Doctor that you've seen in all the like all the comics that operates on Wolverine walks away, then morphs into Sinister. He was like, "It was me all along," and then he's like, "And now I'm gonna go give Colossus adamantium," and we're like, "What is happening?"
Like, if it turns out that Mr. Sinister was the person who operated on Wolverine, doesn't that change like
everything? Like, I don't know. Like, he's not.
Did they make that canon, or is that even just like a joke that one person wrote canon. Where they were like, Mr. Sinister is part of this now?
Oh my god!
Bad thing that ever happened.
Every now and again, like recently, not recently. It was like 3 years ago. There was a story where they were like, "What's with this huge like thing in the middle of like the field?" It was like a big rock, and then it exploded and turned out to be Mr. Sinister's face. And then he was like, and he's like, "Here I am with all my clones." And then there was like 1,000 of them, and they all had like exploding cows. Like he's so ridiculous.
The one that I read was an X-23 story. I don't even know if it's worth getting into this.
This is when Miss Sinister also existed, but then turned out just to be Mr. Sinister. Like,
there's like an extensive thing. I mean, like Mr. Sinister is also apparently a gender fluid character, but they don't. I mean, spoilers. I don't know. So like, you meet Mrs. Sinister, Miss Sinister, Ms. Sinister, and she's like, "I'm not Mr. Sinister. I'm a clone that's trying to break away from him and his control, and I'm like definitely super duper not Mr. Sinister." And like, then it turns out she is Mr.
Like she
Sinister.
just like,
it's like, okay.
Maddie was trying to explain this to me because she was reading this X-23 comic where he was like, "It was me, Mr. Sinister, all along," and Maddie was like, "They didn't even explain why that was happening.
They don't."
And then
like,
Remy's there, and Gambit's like, he's like, "Time to torture Remy," and Remy's like, "No."
And like Remy was like literally doing all the things that you and Katie always wrote in your fanfics about him, and I was like, "Wait, this is just a fan fiction that my friends would write. What's happening?" Like, there's a gender variant Mr. Sinister, and like also Remy's there being tortured. Like, what is this?
Like, this was an X-23 comic. I don't know what's happening now.
Oh, there was like definitely some cheesecake for all, because there's like X-23 getting strapped to a table and like tortured by Mrs. Sinister, and like she's like extremely sexy and wearing like a sexy tiny bra, and like X-23 is wearing like almost nothing, and I'm like, who is this for? I guess there's some lesbian cheesecake here, and like, so that's happening. But then like a page later, they're like, and now for gay people, because like Mr. Sinister like transforms into Mr. Sinister again and then starts torturing Remy. And I was like, okay, so what is happening? Like, why is this so gay? Is mostly my biggest question was why is X-Men so gay? Anyway, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, so speaking of X-Men, Ben said that the new trailer came out and he sent it to us and he wants us to do a live reaction, which maybe we'll do, but he says there's a major new character reveal in it, so apparently there's a whole new character.
Would that be boring for us to do a live reaction? I kind of have to go.
I know, I was gonna say, we have to finish what we're doing so you can go to work. But yeah, so anyway, Mr. Sinister is a ridiculous character, and then I wish we could do a live reaction, but we're running out of time. So
yeah, you can blame the X-Men people for not releasing that sooner. Sorry.
Hold on. What
we should do recipes.
Yeah, we should do recipes. I think that was it, right?
I
why
think
is Mr. Sinister on this list twice?
I don't know. I think the fourth thing was Maddy and Ryan as teens, but when are we not talking about that?
Okay. So anyway, recipe corner. So none of the recipes we have this week are like real by any means, but Skye sent us hers, and she wrote, instead of a recipe, I thought I'd share that I recently read about Sous-Vide cooking, and it sounds rad. I might try it. Even I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, because like it's
Sous-Vide?
Like Sous-Vide. That's it. There you go.
I don't know. I made that up. I haven't even seen what this word is.
Anyway, so she writes, for the uninitiated, it's putting food in plastic bags and leaving the food in hot water for a while until it's cooked.
I have heard of this, and it freaks me out because I'm like worried that the food wouldn't cook enough.
I like microwaves.
Yeah, I'm just like scared that would be bad somehow.
Yeah. Joke time. Why did the actor never bother changing the spelling mistakes in letters sent by mail? He figured they'd fix it in post. Ha ha ha.
Wait, what?
You don't get it? Okay, she even like explains afterwards. She goes, because post refers to post production and also the mail, like post service, postal.
Sure.
And she goes, when you think quality, think Mako Fury. Now available at Mako Fury.
That is where Skye's tweets are available for sure.
Yeah, well, everybody should follow Skye at Mako Fury, and also we should all be following Mary Ellen, which I'm gonna look at.
I like how every week now we're like, you guys should follow Skye and Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen's Twitter is Mary Ellen Murr, and sometimes she'll draw pictures for us.
Mary Ellen.
Hold on, wait. So she actually made a video that she posted up on her YouTube channel. That's technically an
I think this was like a week ago, and we forgot to talk about.
No,
I was gonna talk about. I was going to talk about the Supernatural video that she made.
Oh yeah, she made a trailer for her podcast, which is really funny. But like, she like just synced it up with the actual episode.
It's great. So like, Mary Ellen posts hilarious videos, and people should be watching those. Let's just say that.
Well, the one she posted today was a compilation of the best of Team Sexy Bae playing Outlast that she posted on her channel. So it's just the parts of us like making jokes and screaming.
Okay, so that's the best according to some definitions of the word best.
But you know. Mary Ellen and Ryan standards, which is, pretty crazy. All right. So our recipes, we've decided that we're both talking about s'mores.
I mean, you can. I don't have anything else to.
No, well, about. We were like, what's the right way to make the proper s'mores? So I guess
I put the marshmallow on the stick and then like try to rotisserie that shit the entire time. Constantly turning it around.
That's not how I do. I like literally stick it into the fire till it's black.
I don't do that. I want it to be like golden brown. So I just like hover it over the flames, but that doesn't really work very well because technically you want it to be near the bottom of the fire, the coals where it's actually hot, but like just close to it, not on it. So we couldn't really do that at Steph's because the fire hadn't been burning long enough. So like I had trouble getting my marshmallow hot enough without like putting it directly in the flame, which I didn't want to do. So
right. And then you slap on some chocolate, which we had some Hershey's, and I don't like milk chocolate, so like that part was gross to me. So if I did a perfect s'more, I would do like dark chocolate. No, I'm serious. Like I love dark chocolate, so maybe a little melted dark chocolate.
I mean, I like dark chocolate too, but like I feel like a s'mores classically is milk chocolate.
And then you can put some peanut butter in there, or maybe some strawberries.
Oh my god! And then you can just have a whole bowl full of different foods that you just spoon
and then I'll
in your
have some
mouth.
cereal, put some Fruit Loops in there.
Oh my god! Okay, I don't recommend any of that. I'm classic about it. I say a square of milk chocolate and a graham cracker square, and then the marshmallow. I was only using that's all I was using. I wasn't using 2 graham cracker squares. I was just putting the chocolate on top. I don't know what you were doing. Were you doing 2 graham cracker squares like a sandwich?
Yeah, I was doing like a sandwichy type of deal.
I feel like that's a lot of graham cracker though.
That was also like a lot of sweet stuff for me because I don't really like desserty stuff too much. Like I like it a little bit, but like after a while I'm like, this is so sweet. So I had like a few bites of mine. I was like, I don't know if I can finish this. It was good, like don't get me wrong, but like
you like different kinds of sweet stuff than I do. Like you enjoy drinking alcohol and I don't.
That's true.
That was your sugar for the evening because alcohol is a cup of sugar and I didn't have any alcohol.
We don't need to get into that fight again, but like it was good. I mean,
everybody was unhealthy that evening, according to the laws of sugar anyway.
Well, we also had like a million potato chips. I also never ate dinner that night.
Well,
so
that's
potato chips and s'mores and whiskey.
You had some dinner. I watched you eat some of it. You had some dinner. It just wasn't your entire dinner.
That's true. Anyway, so Ben really wants us to do this live reaction, but we can't because I just realized there's no way we're gonna be able to sync it up in time unless we were really like, do we
tell Ben that I had to go to work so you can blame me.
This is like, it would be like how we would have done it when we were 13 on the phone with each other. We've been like, okay.
Except that we never got to do stuff like that.
Play.
We never got to do stuff like that because that wasn't how the internet worked back then.
Actually, what happened is we would just be like, Maddie would be like, turn on channel 13. We're going to watch Pokemon together. So
there would be that, but also trailers would get released like before movies, and there wouldn't really be like a big broadcast on the internet. Anyway, I have to go.
Okay, yeah, it's 10:30.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, everyone. You can subscribe to this channel and catch our Insomniacs every week. We also post the podcast on our website, atomicblueproductions.com, and on iTunes, which is finally loading. And then you can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook at Atomic Blue Productions, which is our home base. And you can find Maddie and I at Sama's Clone and Dr. Yoshi too. And don't forget about Skye and Mary Ellen at Mako Fury.
Don't forget that you can send us
Mary Ellen Murr. And anyway, we're going to go watch the X-Men trailer. So we'll post and tweet that. Oh, I'll tweet out that photo that Mary Ellen sent too. The drawing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the photo.
The photorealistic drawing. Goodbye, everyone. This is Trish.
Bye.